headlines this evening. It's the ITV News.
Stories making the headlines this evening. It's the ITV News.
Carnage on the tracks in Pakistan. At least 30 dead and 100 injured as an express train derails. The cause is under investigation. Also tonight. Ready and waiting, the government confirms the first asylum seekers will go on to the Barbie Stockholm barge in the next few days. So near and yet so far, England's netball team fail in their date with destiny. And ahead of their World Cup showdown, the Lionesses' manager warns against complacency.
I think we haven't had any easy game at all, and we don't expect an easy game tomorrow. It's going to be very competitive, and we have to be at our best.
This is ITV News with Jonathan Hill.
Good evening. Investigators are trying to establish the cause of a train crash in Pakistan, which has left 30 dead and at least 100 injured. Several carriages overturned in the crash in Sindh province in the south of the country, and reports say women and children are among the casualties. Serious accidents on Pakistan's antiquated rail network are not uncommon. Sam Holder has the latest.
The carriages lie strewn across the landscape, some twisted at seemingly impossible angles. People rushed to help those on board the Hazara Express after it derailed near the town of Nawabshah. But for some, there was nothing that could be done. Amongst this wreckage, dozens of lives have been lost, many more seriously injured.
12 of us were first to reach the site. We started rescuing the injured, including children and old people. They were in bad condition. Some of them had broken hands and legs, so we did what we could.
10 carriages came off the track. The force of the derailment so intense, parts of the train were ripped apart, springs littering the ground. The metal frames contorted.
When I saw the tragic scene, tears came from my eyes. People were looking for their loved ones. Everyone was sad and confused.
The army have been drafted in to help at the scene, 170 miles from Pakistan's biggest city, Karachi, and a state of emergency declared at 2 nearby hospitals. Senior officials have promised medical care will be provided for the train's passengers. As night fell, the relatives arrived.
7 members of my family are missing and 22 of my neighbours are missing. So far we've only found 4 and the rest are still missing.
Train crashes are painfully common on Pakistan's ageing railway network. In 2021, a crash, also in the Sindh province, led to 65 deaths. Some of the signal and communications systems in the country date back to the colonial era, and experts say tracks are poorly maintained. The Prime Minister has ordered an investigation, but the Railways Minister insists the track here was fit for purpose, suggesting a mechanical fault or sabotage could be to blame. Sam Holder, ITV News.
The government has revealed they plan to house the first asylum seekers on the Barbie Stockholm barge in the next few days. It's expected around 50 people will be accommodated on the vessel off the coast of Dorset. Well, let's get more on this with our correspondent Lewis Warner. Now, Lewis, it's been a controversial policy for the government.
Yes, it has, and it is looking like it will happen in the next few days. There have been delays, legal challenges and health concerns, but today the Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick said it would happen in the coming days. The first group, as you say, would be around 50 asylum seekers on board the Barbie Stockholm barge, which is currently docked at Portland Port in Dorset. It's hoped housing them there instead of in hotels around the country will save the government a significant amount of money. It's currently forking out around £6 million a day. while it processes their claims. But the problem is that process is taking a very, very long time. Labour claimed today it would take until 2036 to clear the current backlog of failed asylum seekers, which stands at around 40,000 people. All that time, there are those health concerns on board the vessel too. An NHS Dorset document revealed the danger posed by the possibility of a disease like diphtheria, possibly spreading among residents and among staff there too. And of course, there are security concerns after social media accounts from right-wing posters posted about the possibility of wanting to try and sink the ship with asylum seekers on board. And of course, the Prime Minister has made this one of his five key pledges of the year. So it is very important that this scheme, when it does start, goes well for the government.
Lewis Warner, thank you very much indeed. A 12-year-old boy has died after being hit by a car on the M62 motorway in West Yorkshire late last night. Police believe the boy was trying to make his way from the central reservation to the hard shoulder when he was struck by the vehicle, which then left the scene. A 36-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of causing or allowing the death of a child. The deadline set by West African leaders for Niger's military junta to reinstate its ousted president to power has passed. The region's leaders had threatened military action against those behind the coup, overthrowing elected President Mohamed Bazoum. People wrongly convicted of a crime will no longer have their living costs docked from their compensation claim. The rule was brought to light by the case of Andrew Malkinson, who spent 17 years in prison for a rape he did not commit. His lawyer described it as paying for his kidnapper's expenses. And a fire has ripped through Dudley's historic Crooked House pub. The cause of the blaze is not yet known, but it comes days after the 18th century building, famously known as Britain's wonkiest pub, was sold to a private buyer for alternative use. Sport now, and there was disappointment for England's women's netball team as they fell short in their first ever World Cup final. They lost 45-61 to Australia, who became world champions for the 12th time. It was a painful defeat for the Roses, but the head coach said tonight she was incredibly proud of the team despite the result. Chris Scudder was watching.
The proudest of days for the Roses, and hopes were high for a first world title. But Australia had done it time and time again. The 11 times world champions started fast with a 4-point lead.
Oh my goodness, quick releases.
England had already beaten them once in the tournament and were level by the end of the first quarter. But turnovers were crucial. The Roses lost the ball at key moments, and by half-time, the Aussies used all their experience to lead again by 4.
4 goals in it then, Australia just with that edge.
England needed to be clinical, but the ball would not stick under pressure. And Australia, playing their 9th successive world final, stretched the advantage to 10 points at the end of the third quarter.
Pushing it, you can come on.
England's greatest netball day had been beating the Aussies to Commonwealth gold in 2018. But there could be no repeat here. A heavy defeat this time, and disappointment for the fans who'd gathered in bars watching at home.
It was history, so that's obviously really nice, but still sad that we didn't win.
What can we say? We lost against the world champions.
That last quarter, I think the emotion was quite sad, but just really proud.
And while England fans reflect on what might have been, Australia celebrate becoming world champions for the 12th time. Chris Scudder, ITV News.
England women will be hoping for a better performance when it comes to the Football World Cup. They face Nigeria tomorrow morning in the first knockout round. Manager Serena Wiegman says her team can't be complacent despite the Lionesses having won all 3 of their matches so far. They've also been boosted by the return of influential midfielder Kira Walsh, who suffered a knee injury earlier in the tournament. Natalia O'Kara has more.
Promising signs on the pitch as the entire England squad, including Barcelona midfielder Kira Walsh, took part in today's team training. a huge boost for the Lionesses' hopes ahead of their match with Nigeria tomorrow. But just over a week ago, Walsh's future in the tournament looked uncertain. The 26-year-old was carried off in a stretcher during the match with Denmark. There were fears it was a serious knee injury, forcing her to miss England's fixture against China. But after some recovery time, Walsh could now make tomorrow's starting lineup.
She's doing well. She started her rehab straight after we knew what was going on. And she has been on the pitch, she has been training today. Now we'll wait till how she recovers from that training session, and if she does well, then she's available for tomorrow.
However, Serena Wiegman, who is now the last female coach left in the tournament, remained tight-lipped on her tactical setup, whether she will stick with a back three or return to a four, complicating Nigeria's preparations.
I'm sure England in their preparation have worked on both of those systems quite extensively. So we've tried in this week to just prepare for both, and we'll see which way they come out.
Whatever formation, Wiegman is confident that her team are strong in all areas. The Lionesses have won all 3 matches at the Women's World Cup and intend to roar their way to victory by securing England's place in the quarter-finals tomorrow. Natalia Jorquera, ITV News.
Meanwhile, the defending champions, the USA, are out of the tournament. They lost to Sweden in the knockout round of 16 on penalties earlier today by the thinnest of margins. Sweden's Lena Hurtig had to score this penalty to win the tie. Arsenal have won their first trophy of the season. They beat Manchester City on penalties in the Community Shield after a dramatic end to the game in normal time. Mikel Arteta's side were trailing to Cole Palmer's strike until the 101st minute, when a deflected strike from Leo Trossard brought them level. Arsenal then came out on top in the shootout. Fabio Vieira took the winning penalty as they made the perfect start to the season. Finally, she's always been a trailblazer, but now Barbie has made film history by taking $1 billion at the box office.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
It's the film everyone is talking about. And just 17 days after it premiered, the movie has seen global success for director Greta Gerwig. It's the first time a solo female director has made a film that's grossed so much money at the cinema. Warner Brothers have described it as a watershed moment in cinema. The stars involved are truly in the pink. And that's it for tonight. The weather's up next, but from all the team here, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.